have. They had a presentation about what HMRI thinks has and also has done in enabled healthcare. I thought I must share a few things since we're talking about innovations in healthcare, policy, processes, and technology. I think Bhude had given a wonderful exposure of what innovation is all about, what technology is all about. So the advantage of being the last person is you're served with a full meal. Just have to see if I can give you some dessert if possible, or at least some pan since you come to India. And Hyderabad is known for its tehzeeb, so probably we'll try to do what I can do. There are a few questions that were bothering us, some of us who set up HMRI together. We are a group of people from the corporate sector. We are a group of people who are retired from the government in the healthcare space. And we have a few more people who come from the NGO sector. We came together and set up this organization called HMRI, which is a not-for-profit organization. One of the questions that we had, which I'm sure Dr. Anju Sharma did talk about, is there equity? I would like to add to this 3P, 2Ps and 1T, policy, process and technology. I'd like to add one more P to it, purpose. What is the purpose of a policy? What is the purpose of this technology? And what is the purpose of these processes? And that is very, very critical. I stand here not as a proud Indian, but I stand here as a person who is deeply pained to see that in 21st century, the kind of human indices that we have, whether it is mother mortality, infant mortality, or anything else, those numbers don't reflect all this wonderful technology that we have all around us. The key question, therefore, can we be reminded of ourselves from time to time? What is the purpose? Why are we here? All technologies of no value. There's a Telugu poet who said, Davilisanu pandineyeni vividhayuda kaushalambu vrudharasumati. If you can't kill a slow-moving pig, no point in you having a PhD in archery. So, my simple request to all the thinkers around is to see whether we create EHR or EMR or anything that we do, end of the day, if I am a tribal child who is 200 kilometers away from the nearest town, what are the chances that I will survive and see a day? What are the chances that I'll finish my education and stand in a conference like this 20 years from now and probably may not present, at least listen from the other side? These are the key questions. While the numbers are sexy, in Pradesh we talk about MR of something like 52 now, from 65 to 52. It's been coming down. We talk of an MMR of 152 or 153. These numbers tell some truth. They also tell some lies. The people like me, whose numbers will compare with the best in the world. Compared to France, the MMR could be 5. MMR could be 11 or 8 or 7. My numbers, and people who are sitting here, will be similar to that. So when I average this number, the tribal number, it comes to whatever, 152 or 50 or things like that. But if I actually slide down on caste, on income and distance, you'll be surprised to see the numbers will be pathetic than Saharan Africa. It's a shame. All of us have to be ashamed about it. I'm extremely ashamed. So the key question that we asked ourselves is, what can we do? What way can we contribute our 2 cents worth of putting some technology together and work with a powerful machinery like government, which has the mandate? So at HMRI, we do not believe in doing small things. We believe in bringing in solutions which are scalable, replicable, which have a scale. And we believe the government has the mandate and has the money and the mechanism. So therefore, no point in trying to create a competing architecture. We took a call saying that let's complement, supplement and support the government and help them wherever there are gaps, where we can help them in the whole process. I would like to see personally these numbers change in my lifetime. I don't think I'd like to wait for 60 more years when I'll be dead and gone. I want my grandchildren to believe that they have made progress in 60 years' time. We did a wonderful thing in the last 60 years, but I don't think, like technology age of the generation next or Y or whatever today, I think we should be extremely impatient and there should be indecent haste to drive these numbers down so that all of us can feel proud about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we meet here, these numbers, we feel very proud about them. So therefore, how do we work? What's our approach to work? We believe equity is an important element of healthcare because healthcare, from an industry perspective, lives on the misery of people. I am told long ago the Chinese used to have a simple mechanism. In the village, there's a wife needs to get 20,000 rupees to live in a decent way. Everybody falls sick, cut the fellow's salary. So what is the business model? He would not like anybody to fall sick. He'll tell me, Balaji, don't smoke. If you do that, my salary gets cut. What's our business model? Our business model is, more often you come to me, more often you spend, more technology I use, more evidence-based technology I use, more money will I get. That's how I'll recover my money. I'm not saying, if I were the CEO of a private health company, probably I would behave the same way. I would not be any different. But I'm saying, the models that we have chosen, we need to ask ourselves this question. Public health is concerned. Are we creating sustainable frameworks where policy is concerned as a country? Or do we need somebody like Obama to come 100 years from now and say, guys, we made a mistake some time ago, and I think we need to do something about it. So the question is before us. As health policy is evolving and the space is getting created right now, I think it's very important for us to ask those questions today. If you don't, it organically develop the way it would go, like Hyderabadi roads are. There is no method. There is, of course, you will find, if you Socrates, as a philosopher, you might find method to the madness. When you drive in Hyderabad, I find method in this madness. But definitely an outsider who comes in, he thinks Hyderabad is a poorly planned city because the way the roads go. The question, therefore, my friends, is what is the legacy that we are going to leave to our grandchildren? Will they say that we had the wisdom to create a right kind of a framework, policy, etc.? Technology will evolve. I am sure Satya Gotumukala and wonderful people like that, today they will push cloud technology, and tomorrow something else. I'm sure they'll do a wonderful job about it. No doubts about it, with internet or something like that. So I'm not worried about the bells and whistles. Bells and whistles are a means to an end. And we should never ever forget the end. Unfortunately, many times when we design systems, these people are not visible to us. Those people's voices are not visible to us. Just to give you a sense, Andhra Pradesh has 1,575 primary health centers. And we did a study, who comes to a primary health center? The 100 people who come to a primary health center on any given day, 95% of them come from the same village where it's located. 5 to 10% of the people come within 3 to 5 kilometers range. Don't hold me against it. There are people who might come 20 kilometers from that also, generally. So our question was, how many people live beyond these 3 kilometers of a primary health center? Out of the 65 million people in Andhra, 42 million people live beyond 3 kilometers of a primary health center. That means they are not accessing the public health architecture that we have created. Now what is the point? The PSC may have all the automation under the sun. What is the point? If they cannot access, they are invisible to us, to a system. But I am only looking at those people who are visible to me. Therefore we said, are we going to make them visible? One of my professors long ago told me, Balaji, you should make the invisible visible. You articulate the unarticulated, own the disowned, and act the withheld. That is the only way we will release ourselves from the penury that we are in. Therefore, my friends, what we try to do in our own small way, we ask ourselves these uncomfortable questions. Look the reality in the eye, however dirty it may be, however painful it may be. Let's do something about it. Fortunately, we had a wonderful partner in government of Andhra Pradesh who are willing to do, in policy, there's an intervention, which Tamil Nadu government also has done, public, not-for-profit, private partnerships. There's a difference. This is a PPP. But we are not seeking viability gap funding so that we become viable and sustainable. We make money out of it. For roads, ports, airports, probably we need it. In public goods like health and education, the question is, how do you generate equity with an appropriate policy? We believe as a policy intervention, a PNP seems to be an appropriate model. There are few examples in this country, so I'm not going to talk more about that. Again, I'm not going to talk about processes. We need to use processes. We need to learn from the corporate world. They have done a fantastic job, whether it's Six Sigma or SO or anything that you talk about, whether it's the Japanese systems that are there. They've done fantastic things in controlling costs, improving quality, improving productivity, and improving reliability. That has happened. You know that our cars don't fail. Long ago I was told, the chairman of a car company from India used to always have a bevy of 7 cars follow him when he went to his village. If the first one failed, he would move to the second one failed, would move to the third one, and so on and so forth. Today, none of us do that. Because technology has moved. Well, we have moved on processes, but the key question ourselves is, let us not forget about the purpose, why we need to look at healthcare. Healthcare may mean world-class